16 says I just whipped your ass.
Yes! You just made the list!
Brock Lesnar.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Stuart Vine. As obviously you can hear, there's no Joshua Plummer this time.
He's been replaced. He's gone. He's gone forever.
Me and my good friend Kyle Dixon has decided to take his place.
You're welcome.
Obviously, it's part of his grand plan to secretly take over the entire podcast. But best time to start, start in January, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Is it?
We'll get to it. Well, but yeah. So obviously, Sky was going to join me to review the Royal Rumble. Obviously, I would normally say it's the first pay-per-view of 2022, but WWE is nice enough to give us day one. That was very annoying after January 1st, when normally you would like to chill on the first day of 2022. But WWE, they do love to do that to us, apparently. So, obviously won the Big Four. It's always a kind of big event for anything. I mean, I guess in myself and yourself as well. Always enjoy it. Always look forward to it because you're always going to get something. But this year's one, it's a weird. I guess we go straight into that, just talking about the whole show as a whole, and then we'll go in details. But
first, I should say the Royal Rumble is my favourite match of the year. Without every year, on paper, it's the match that can give you the most nostalgia, unpredictability, and opportunity, which is like three things that make everything better in wrestling, if we're honest. So
yeah, it does,
But yeah, you said they're the Big Four, right? And you are right. Obviously, Royal Rumble won the biggest event, and this is where I got confused from the start, because I don't know about anyone else, but when I was watching it this morning, I watched the kickoff show waiting for a match. There was no pre-show matches at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I got to be honest, because obviously, with obviously me and Josh, we always say we bring it up like who won, but we never watch the pre-show because it's not aimed at us. We don't need to. It's more aimed for the people that might. I don't know why, but
couldn't they have done something? Couldn't they have done a triple threat with a load of Raw mid guys and say they get a US title shot on Raw?
I thought for some reason I thought there was like the New Day versus something, because I saw Big E's on SmackDown briefly for no reason. But
we'll get to Big E.
I look forward to that one because there's rant involved there. We like rants here. We like rants on Just Do Wrestling podcast. Right. So so no pre-show. So I guess in like most things. First things first. Instead of going in deep in each match, I guess we just got to go ask yourself, what's your thoughts on the whole show? What was when you finished watching it, I guess in this morning, what was your thoughts?
Look, it's not a bad show necessarily. Like, there are some good bits, but it just could have been so much better is the problem, right? Like, on paper, it had the potential to be really good. We were going into both Rumbles not really knowing who's going to win. You couldn't really call it. No. Both title matches, you couldn't really call it. There were lots of rumours. It was unpredictable going into it. And then as the show continued, that unpredictability disappeared.
To be fair, it's like when it comes to obviously predictions, I was put out my predictions as well as everyone. It's like most of the predictions were kind of like most of the time right, but not because of like people are like these whiz at predicting. It's just it was quite straightforward where they were going with it. It's I don't know. It's just it just felt weird. Like it just didn't. It's like I was watching it halfway through and I was just like, this is the Royal Rumble. This should be like you should feel excited and feel like anything can happen. But it just felt like a by the numbers show. And
it didn't feel big time. And when you've got Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, which for the record were the two best bits of the show, it should feel a lot bigger. I mean, even those two matches without the Rumbles, it should feel like a big show.
Well, to be fair, the St. Louis crowd weren't exactly pumped. Maybe it was the way I was listening to it, or maybe it's because maybe I just wasn't pumped, so I wasn't looking for it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they just weren't up for this show. I don't know if it's because maybe they've been there for like 6 hours. Maybe it's been a longer show. I don't know. I just didn't feel like they had the pops like of other crowds. Maybe might be wrong.
It felt like it was a show that, yes, it felt long in some ways, but it was a 4-hour show, and it felt like there was only about 2 hours worth of actual wrestling. I know that's not true. Look, I'm looking at the actual times here, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of actual in-ring action for a normal Royal Rumble. So I wonder if that's why the crowd were a bit quiet. They were looking at screens for half the night.
Yeah, that's true. And especially with the Royal Rumble matches, obviously, normally like an hour, near about, a bit less. Even I was doing it. It's like I got through for the second. Like you got the first match we'll talk about in a bit. Then you had the women's Royal Rumble, and then after that was like, oh, that was tiring. You're like, oh my god, there's 2 full matches to go. Okay, and it's just like, I don't know if the pacing was off. Might be a thing. I don't know if
the timing to the show is completely weird. I mean, I'll run through because I got it in here. So the women's Rumble was the longest match on the show.
Okay, was that like 29, 30 minutes or
59:50? So it's 10 seconds off the hour.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But the men's match was only 51 minutes, which explains a lot because it did feel rushed.
Yeah, it did. It didn't. I don't know about the men's one. It just felt there was nothing. I think I said, obviously, check out your Twitter. I saw your Twitter. It's like there was just nothing there. There was just nothing there. Yeah, nice little plug there. We do a lot of plugs here. But yeah, just there wasn't surprises. There wasn't anything new. I mean, it was just nothing. It was just by the numbers Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the opening match though, because the opening match is the best bit of the card, without a doubt. Like if you've not watched this show, watch the opener and read about the rest. Listen to us talk about the rest, but watch the opener because oh my god, the Shield are my favorite faction, my favorite act potentially in history, right?
Yeah,
and it was basically a Shield memorial match, and it was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's like had a situation. Okay, the story's basically Seth trying to get into Roman's head. That now he's pretty much he's lost his try. Well, at the time he lost his was it council? He lost spoiler. Lost his council and he's lost the Usos. So he's going there by himself. And I think Seth done a very good job of getting in his head. And I love the kind of story of that. And I love the way, as I said, when he came down with the Shield, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He's actually coming down the Shield.
But it was the little thing. It genuinely was. My favourite match. I think I liked it a lot more than a lot of other people online, and it was the little things. So like, yes, the Shield music, yes, the Shield vest, and he comes through the crowd. But as he's coming through the crowd and he goes over the barricade, he did the old school front flip that he used to do as the Shield, and it's those little things, and it's stuff like the post match attack, which we'll get to. It was Seth Rollins turning on the Shield with the chair shots.
And it was set up perfectly, like literally the same thing. He gets up and then boom, hits him. He lands on the second rope the exact same way Roman did back in the day. I mean, for me, one little thing, like if you look at my notes, like just because maybe Pat McAfee's got more freedom to say pretty much whatever he wants. I do like the way that he did bring up, he did say Mox, like John Moxley. And I found that funny. It's like, how much do you want to bet that he was getting shouted by Vince saying, how dare you say his name? Don't say his name.
So they said it in the build as well, haven't they? It's the third time they've said the word Mox on TV in the last month. So McAfee said it twice now, and Rollins said it in a promo. And it's very interesting because, like, yes, the hardcore fans know who he is, but the casual fans don't, if we're honest. The casual fans that only watch WWE now and again, don't watch anything else, will go, who's Mox? I know Ambrose. Yeah, that's just the truth of the matter. Cole called him Ambrose later, for the record, but yeah, it's odd. It's a little bit odd that that's not a problem.
No, because I think it's because WWE were used to him. They're just like, if you don't work for us anymore, you're like, so you've been erased from history, type thing.
Yeah, sometimes in a way, but at the same time, like, there's lots of people in history that have gone to a different company, like when WCW was a thing, and they would call them, like Kevin Nash, for example, for the longest time until he came back, if whatever they had to call him, even in a press conference or anything like that, it would be Diesel or Razor Ramon, not Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. So I don't know, it's interesting. I wonder if it was trying to build tension to maybe Mox was in the Rumble. That's what they wanted people to think. Obviously, he wasn't, but I don't know. I just really loved the match, and it wasn't even just the Shield callbacks. It was, and I remember this. I haven't even got it written down, but I remember it. Two things. Rollins busted out the buckle bomb, which he hasn't done in a long time. Because this is the movie he injured Sting with, right?
Yeah.
So that's just like, whoa, okay. And then the spear into the pedigree counter near fall.
That was beautiful.
Was chef's kiss.
I mean, I love the way I didn't even notice it at the time as well. Like when he said, "Oh, like Triple H," and I thought, "Oh, of course." I know it's Triple H with the pedigree, but I just the idea when I thought he did because he still does the pedigree now and then when he does moves. So I thought he just done it. And I thought, and then when you put the added notion that it's a Triple H move, is the little nuances there really cool. But yeah, like the way he went for the spear, jumped, and then just went into the pedigree. Oh, I love stuff like that. I love counters like that.
But it's a callback. This is the thing. So I think it was Money in the Bank 2016, I want to say. And it was Rollins versus Reigns for the title. Yeah. And Rollins beat Reigns for the title with that exact counter spot. And it was enough for the win. So it was a really nice little subtle callback to their own history. Yeah, that's what the whole match was.
I can't remember. How long was the match? Like 10, 15 minutes? Or like
14:25 it's got here.
Oh, so 15. So basically, in 50 minutes, just go for it. I mean, again, it's just, yeah. I think you could sit. It's one of those matches that had some cool stuff. You had obviously that. You had the power bomb for the table, the announce table. It was really cool after a counter.
Was it a shield bomb though, Michael Cole?
The answer to the question is no. It is what they call it in the wrestling profession, a power bomb, a normal one.
Honestly,
Michael does do that sometimes when he gets mixed with, like, he doesn't know his difference between a splash and a frog splash.
Well, this would have been a Vince thing in his ear going, "Oh, we're doing shield stuff. Remember, it's a shield bomb. Is it though?"
No, it's usually no. The answer to that question, no, Michael. But he does do it now and then. Where he's just like, if he kind of forgets moves, like he forgets that. Yeah, I always have it when someone hits a splash, and you're like, oh, and it's obviously a frog splash, and he still keeps going on a splash. Like, at least Pat 9 times out of 10 are going, yeah, it's a frog splash, mate, and he's like, oh, okay, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, so you had that, you had the spear thing, you had basically Seth continuously laughing in his face every time, really messing with him mind games wise. And obviously there's a lot of talk of this Joker Seth Rollins. So with the kind of the suit he was wearing, I think last week or week after. So the idea of someone beating the crap out of him and him laughing is very Heath Ledger Joker, right? Very Heath Ledger. That's what I thought. So, but yeah, good thing is this is we've never seen a side like this with Roman. Yeah.
What do you think of the finish?
It's weird.
Do you have a problem with the finish?
I think for me it's like I don't know. I mean, I think I have the problem with the idea that he got in the guillotine, and then all of a sudden the ref holds up the arm, and he did put his hand on the rope. So it's like, so the ref helped him, but obviously he didn't. But it was a mistake. But obviously we've talked about this before. DQ finishes when we talk about it on our other stuff, like DQ finishes are on pay-per-views are not the best idea. But I think. For the story, I think it works, but he could have just won clean, because obviously they're not gonna move on with this story. So why couldn't he just win clean?
This is the thing. Let me put it to you this way. This is why I have not got a problem with it. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins pay-per-view matches. I want to say this is the third one. Or might be the second one. Either way, big matches. Seth Rollins has now won every time. Okay. So when you consider that story, that maybe Seth Rollins is the one guy that can get in Roman Reigns' head, which was the story of the match, the one guy that has got his number a little bit. They couldn't have Rollins lose if they were going to potentially continue that down the line by doing another. They've set themselves up for another big rematch of Seth Rollins saying, "You can't beat me. You've never beat me."
Yeah, I mean. When you look at that, like, yeah. But again, it's just, I think it's because DQ finishes always have a sour taste in mouths and pay-per-views. So I think that's why I'm not against it because obviously what happened afterwards is, I think, is kind of made up for the finish when you think about it. I mean,
I have no issue with the finish also because from a character point of view, so Seth Rollins has spent 10 minutes getting in his head. Roman Reigns has lost the temper and he's well and truly gone headwise, right? So him taking the heel way out of, okay, DQ me, fine, I keep the title. I've got no issue with that.
I mean, it's nitpicking a little bit. It's like it depends on how you're like. I don't think it's like big a deal. To be fair, it's like it's not like some proper screw finishes. This one was just like, yeah, it's a DQ. It's a bit off, but then the match was pretty good anyway. And then the idea, the visual of seeing Roman Reigns just literally hit him with that chair so many times that it pretty much broke. I'm loving that. And yeah, I think as I said, I like the story. I like what they're doing of it. And yeah, I think it was again the right match to start the show because it, you know, I think it was. I mean, it's good. It said you liked him more than most.
Considering it was a heel versus heel match as well to open a pay-per-view, which is like rare.
So I'm assuming Seth is the.
Seth was the face in a way.
Okay, just I got to sometimes ask that question because obviously in this match, heel for heel, it's like. But anyway, yeah, so he was the face in this match.
It felt like he was the face, and I then have got to put the question to you. Do you think a Seth Rollins face turn could be coming? Because I don't know what else he can do as a heel now.
Well, it seems like we're at this point again. Because we always have, remember that last time, we forget at one point, I think was it 2016, 17? Seth Rollins was pretty much the hottest thing in the company, I remember, when he was Intercontinental Champion. Even I was on board. I was like, yeah, this guy's good because he's basically showed how amazing he is in the ring. I'm not against it personally because again, it might freshen up his character. I mean, it depends if he's going to be like maybe not like a traditional face and maybe just like a what's it, his tweener? Yeah, in between, like kind of like he's kind of. I mean, unless he goes full like maybe go back to the Shield days, not literally by like the music and all that, but kind of goes doing stuff he did when he was in the Shield, maybe. But I mean, what would he do? That's the thing. What would it be if you wanted him to go a face turn? What would you think?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they turn him face or how his character would change necessarily. All I see is he's been the heel for what, 2 years? About 2 years, give or take. He's feuded with all the top guys as a heel at this point, more or less. And there's a massive face gap on Raw right now.
Yeah.
Now that Big E's gone back to SmackDown, who's the top face on Monday Night Raw?
I mean, let's do the Bobby Lashley thing. Because I got to be honest, the way he was acting.
That is something we'll get to. Yeah, I think that as well.
I mean, but we'll get to that. But yeah, so I guess we're agreeing. Great start to the show.
Yeah. All downhill from there, but yeah, great.
I mean, as we said before, I don't know if you picked up on the recording. We seem to have this knack of every time we do a review together, we always pick a pay-per-view that's like. Yeah. So basically, this is like, unfortunately, this is one and done for you, my friend. You can't come back now if you're bad luck. You know, can't be done. But
yeah,
he's not saying. But anyway, but let's go into the next match. We're talking about the Women's Royal Rumble match. That again, you kind of got to put the Royal match either right at the start of the show or second match on the card. Most things about the Royal match is that kind of is because I just don't want to go like nearly 40 minutes, literally an hour, literally going through each bit. Yeah, I mean, as I said, going into this one, it was a situation of, as you said before, it's kind of who's going to win. I wasn't really sure. I mean, wasn't anyone stand out? That might be because of just they weren't really focusing on who were going to win, or because, let's be honest, spoiler warning here, we obviously know who won the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble won the Rousey, but that felt like it came out of nowhere. So this feels like it was a quick kind of, because that rumor only came out like a week ago, or at least a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I mean, it only came out last few days. As soon as it was announced, well, not announced, as soon as it was heard she was going to be in the Rumble, there was only one winner, if we're honest. But in terms of the other people, there wasn't many other contenders. Well, no, there were contenders they could use. Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan. I mean, there are a few others.
Sasha Banks.
Shayna.
I mean, to be fair, for a while, I was saying Bianca Belair just because the kind of, ever since the Becky situation, the kind of, she needs a kind of another, something else to put her back because she wasn't, I thought she was really good, but then they kind of, done the whole Becky situation with losing the title, and then kind of have done much with her too much.
No, she's kind of slipped back down the pecking order a bit. I wasn't a. I'm going to preface this by saying this was better than the men's rumble.
I am saying, like, it was. I think it was. I just remembered it from the way I was watching it. I was watching the men's. It might sound horrible, but I was literally like at some time looking at the time, going, okay, this is because it's just that didn't have anything. At least this had what you would want from a rumble match. It had the surprises. It had the legends coming back. It had cool moments, all that kind of stuff, like the story beats that you would go into a rumble. It had that playing out in the rumble match, and it was. Was it the best ever? No, but it said it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable to watch.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, look, there's lots of good bits to it. I liked. I mean, if we're talking the returns, Mighty Molly's always nice to see. Ivory bringing out the
right to censor. I love that.
Yeah, the RTC music. I'm here for it.
And holding them. I love the way that basically for the entire she was holding the mic and speaking as well. Even when she was getting slammed by Rhea Ripley, it's like, yeah, she's proper old school there. But I like that. Right to Censor is one of those annoying but lovable groups back in the old 2000s. So that was fun.
Mickey got a good pop, which was nice. I liked the tiny little nod between Shayna and Ronda. Like, yes, let's go. Let's start using them as allies properly, please.
That was. Well, to be fair, I just want to see Shayna Baszler be utilised as the badass she was in NXT. We've been waiting for it, basically, since the day one she, no pun intended, the one when she started in the main roster, basically. So I just like the way, for that bit, I like the bit where Ronda's like, she found a fan, and she's like, you've never seen a person so happy to see anyone ever. And if they can, if they do a thing team up with them too, I am totally on board with that.
I like the Sonya Naomi stuff. That was all quite nice, entertaining stuff. Nothing mind blowing, but it was solid.
I like the stuff. I like that bit. Like the bit when she's like I got to be honest, a little nitpick. There's too many people. When one person does it, they walk around, don't enter win once, so that's fine. But in this match, there was two. It was like Sonya and Carmella, but and also it's always awkward. It's always awkward when what's his name? God, memory's gone. Corey Graves. Corey Graves absolutely goes crazy every time Carmella comes on the screen. I'm like, we know why that is. That's not, we know. But yeah, I mean that was cool. I like the idea when like Cameron came in the ring. It's kind of, she's her best friend, and then she kind of attacks her. I kind of like that, like realization, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, that was a good bit. Let's talk about the bad bits though, because there's more bad bits. As much as it was a better Rumble, there's more bad bits. The Bella Twins getting the featured role they got is just why.
I mean, it's always the same with the Bellas, isn't it?
But so they eliminated Liv just like that. Great, that's going to do wonders for her. I got
to be honest, I was actually really pissed for that because obviously, especially when they kind of got involved in that kind of union with Sarah Logan? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fair. That when I got to be honest, I guess you're thinking the same. Does anyone find it awkward that literally a couple of weeks ago she was bringing up that Becky got her, was it fired or something?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, but like there was they probably because they cut it out straight after because it got a bit of controversy because they're using firing people as a storyline. But yeah, she pulled up, like she basically accused like Becky of like, you're the reason why my friends got fired now.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it felt awkward. It's like, oh, are we supposed to forget that? And then all of a sudden she's back, and then it happened, and then all of a sudden the Bellas come in and just take them out. It's like, oh, that would have been a nice moment to see our friend. And
it did feel like the moment was taken away. It's not just me, right? So you had Sarah Logan come out, you had Liv do the face, and it's, oh my god, this is amazing. They lock eyes, they notice each other. Just let them hug. It's not hard. Just let them hug.
They're like, we're simple people. We just like to see people, happy to see, a hug. We want, or at least like a moment that they can reflect or team up for a little bit. Just something like that to prove. We didn't get any of that. And it's just like, and then the Bellas got like eliminated both as well. It's just like even worse.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. So I kind of want to put it on record. I have no problem with Ronda Rousey winning the Rumble. No problem with that choice, but it's how you get there. Why is what was the final four? Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair.
Give me a sec. I've got it. Final four.
And the
Charlotte. Was
Bellas?
it? No, they got eliminated. That's no offense, Bellas, but thank God. The final four: Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte. Final four.
So that final four, in theory, sounds fine on paper, but Bianca was dumped out like she was a second thought. And it was just like, oh, okay, she's gone then.
Yeah, the person that won the Rumble last year would have thought that wouldn't have been a bigger deal, but it wasn't apparently.
Shayna, see you later. You're not part of this, Shayna. See you later.
And a crappy way as well. Like,
Yeah,
literally, was it Charlotte boot to the face, or like literally
something like that. And why is there's a way to do a champion in a Rumble, and it's Brock Lesnar 2020. That was masterfully done.
I mean, let's do. I got to be honest. That's probably one of my favorites. Like, because the way it was booked was pretty mate. Like, it was literally spot on. It's like literally the pacing was great. It was a great Rumble, and it had everything we wanted. But the point is, I think like Charlotte in there, but then we understand Charlotte's great to win, but when they do keep putting her in these spots, it does annoy people. Obviously, she didn't win, obviously, but the idea that if she did win, she was in the final two.
But she wasn't a believable winner. That's my problem. So if you had Ronda and you had, I don't know, say Bianca as the last two, and they have a proper battle, the final two, which is always a better way to end a Rumble, by the way, rather than just a quick elimination. But both competitors have a 4 or 5 minute battle between themselves, a couple of near eliminations, blah, blah, blah. See Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. You get my point, right?
Yeah.
But say you did that, the match will be so much better for it because you've got two people who, believably, in your own head, could win the Rumble.
Yeah, it's basically it's like last year's. Last year's was great. The final two were Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. That was great because it was a win-win. Because if Rhea Ripley won, we're happy. Bianca Belair wins, we're happy.
You've got it in your notes there. Who eliminated Rhea Ripley?
Give me a second. Good. If I remember who eliminated Rhea Ripley. Who was it? Give me a sec. Obviously, my notes. Ripley phone. So I just I love the way it's like. I try to call that. Who won it with Ripley? Don't know. I'm not quite sure.
I'm trying to look myself.
I don't think it was anyone like it was like it wasn't treated as a big elimination.
No, and I mean, I'll be honest, that's my problem.
I mean, especially a situation of as I said before with the whole Charlotte.
Yeah, great. Cool.
So
because that helps Rhea Ripley, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love the way that she. Just to point out here, I forgot to say she eliminated Lita and Ripley as well.
By the way, I got to point this out. Don't put Lita in the match if you're not going to put Trish in the match. What's the point? Yeah,
that was strange. I mean, there was stuff on Instagram. I think pictures. I think Bailey did it as well, where it's like they just basically put this picture them putting a fear watching the show. I'm like, yes, like they put Lita, but no Trish. I was waiting for Trish Stratus because that's what they normally do. But you have Lita, you have Trish Stratus because they're kind of they have to be together. You know what I mean? It's like they're both the same. If like you can't have one without the other.
But it felt like they were struggling for numbers, obviously, because they'd fired everyone in the past year. So rather than go, well, let's look at what we've got and put the best people together. You know what I mean? If Oscar's ready to go, let's bring her back. Bailey's ready, let's go. Lita and Trish, let's have them have a moment. Raquel Gonzalez from NXT, anyone? That would be good,
NXT in general, to be fair. I mean, for God's sake, why didn't they use Mandy Rose? Like the NXT champion.
I had that exact same thought when Sonya Deville was doing the thing with Naomi, and I thought, bring out Mandy Rose now.
I know, it's like, I think that's also the problem with Rumbles this year. It's like, for years, it's a situation that they didn't have to bring anyone too shocking from Legends because Legend wrestlers, because they had NXT, that when NXT stars win the Rumble, felt big. I always felt big.
Yeah, but I don't think there was a Legend that come back that hasn't been in a Rumble or been on the Evolution card, right? No, maybe Melina.
Yeah, but I mean, we talk about underwhelming eliminations. Freaking Sasha Banks get eliminated early on was a bit another one as well. Like was it freaking Lena Vega? I even put in my notes here. That was a bad. That's the bad call. Like,
I'll be honest. The whole thing with Sasha's weird. Why bring her back on SmackDown to announce she's going to be in it and then give her 10 minutes at the start?
I mean, I can only guess it's because she might be not 100%.
Okay, but she's not 100% making number 30. It's not that hard.
I know. Well, apparently in WWE it's very, very hard. But yeah, I mean, obviously when maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I kind of expected it. I wasn't really like with Ronda Rousey turning up. Like, yeah, it's a big thing, but like it was. I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't have the same emotions as maybe as the crowd did. I mean, what I said, her winning it, yeah, 100%. It's not a problem with that because it sets up maybe Charlotte probably going to be her opponent. There's been rumors that that's the one.
No.
WrestleMania.
No.
Well, we know.
No.
I know. I want Becky
No.
personally.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Let's talk about it then. You brought it up. Charlotte and Ronda had a great match at Survivor Series 2018. For the record, they are good opponents for each other. You do that match at WrestleMania, we're looking at the women's version of Brock and Goldberg. Because nobody wants to cheer Ronda Rousey. They want to boo her, so make her the heel. And nobody wants to cheer Charlotte.
So it's, yeah. I keep forgetting that, but then it's like, you think, what made Ronda, like, what was the feud that defined Ronda's run?
And
Becky.
the match they haven't done, it makes no sense. I don't think we're going to see Ronda versus Charlotte personally. I know there's rumours and I get it. I don't see it. Because Ronda didn't act like a babyface, for the record. Ronda was very, I'm getting business done. Like the post-match celebration, she pointed at the sign, but she wasn't smiling or celebrating like she was during her face run originally. Do you know what I mean? There was lots of hand clapping and stuff like that during the first one. This one was mean Ronda getting down to business. So make her the heel, turn Becky face, and do the match everyone wants to see. And main event WrestleMania night 1 with it. Job done.
I mean, I know it's like that's what. And also with all obviously with those I don't know if she actually meant those comments on Twitter. She's basically a better heel anyway. Like because she's got that kind of. And I think if they're gonna do, well, obviously we'll find out on Monday. Maybe the first thing she does when she turns up is turn like everyone's just kind of turn heel. Maybe we don't know. But again, the problem is, as I said before, I haven't got a problem with her winning it. If you're gonna bring her back, there's only one match to do, and it got to be done. And basically, if there's many matches that don't, not a lot of matches WWE that really appeal to me as much anymore than they used to be. That is a match that does. I would happily watch that match because it's a thing we should have got years ago. And the idea of her was it Becky being the face and Ronda Rousey being heel. I'm on getting that, and especially a Twitter game alone would be worth a mission. I mean,
yeah, and I mean, look, it kind of segues in actually nicely. Let's talk about Becky for a sec. Now that Ronda's won the Rumble, she clearly has to turn face, and that's not. WWE has to accept that they were wrong to turn a heel. I think a heel turn's been pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she's done good. I mean, what's the one match? I mean, the Liv Morgan stuff.
Yeah, the Liv Morgan
was quite nice.
Good. She's had some good stories with Bianca. The triple threat in Saudi Arabia was pretty good with Sasha. And I think, fine, now turn her back face. It wouldn't be that difficult to do because people want to cheer her.
Sure, anyway. I mean, to be fair, you could just, I got to be honest, we're waiting for it to them. It was like, for us, like, heel one, it's a decent heel one, but we're kind of like, we're at that point now. It's like, yeah, we get it. You know why he did it, but can we just bring it back to what we know, right? What we know about.
And obviously, Becky we love. Obviously, we've glossed over the fact that Becky beat Doudrop to retain the title, obviously. So that sets up, clearly for me, this is what I do. Look, for anyone that knows us, and what we do stream-wise, obviously twitch.tv/Kyle Dixon, you know, we are doing fantasy booking stuff. This is what I do. It's simple, right? Becky and Ronda, and Charlotte and a debuting Raquel Gonzalez. It's not that difficult. Those are two matches I want to see at WrestleMania.
Well, apparently it is for WWE, but yeah, I mean, it's like I said, Charlotte Ronda Rousey, no, but yeah, like Gonzalez versus like literally, like I would be up for that. But yeah, I mean, obviously we talk about this. You haven't brought Doudrop in the sense of how she performed in this match. I mean, she's done in the build-up. She's quite decent. Build up to a point.
So as much as heel versus heel worked with Roman and Seth, this didn't. This was just the action was fine. The finish was good. The super rock bottom, impressive.
Not calling it manhandle slam then. Definitely rock bottom, eh?
It's a super rock bottom.
Yeah,
Or super, it was a uranagi, if we're being really, really good. Yeah. Anyway, that was cool. But the match was just meh.
Well, apparently, from people I've heard is apparently obviously the sign, I think the Wrestlemania sign, apparently was on fire. So a lot of the fans were kind of focusing on that. So maybe that might be a reason why no one was into this match as much. But again, the timing of it, you've just come off nearly an hour worth of Royal Rumble, right? And then you put any match after that would be a problem. So, but I mean, it was just a standard. But that's
the problem with the modern Rumbles. You don't have much of a chance with that. I've got no issue with the card placement necessarily, but I would say I can hear Vince already backstage going, "See, Ronda, that's the heat. God damn it, the goddamn heat." See,
I know. I mean, but yeah, I mean, again, I think this is one of these matches you're gonna have where we'll do drop, see what she can do. Becky's Becky, you know. I did like the kind of story with kind of Becky couldn't stop Doudrop early on, so she kept going on the outside, try and rethink her strategy type stuff. But yeah, I mean, me in general, like, notes wise, there wasn't really enough noteworthy other than stuff you expect from a match like this. I mean, the finish was great. I like the finish, but as you said, but yeah, it was kind of by the numbers match that you would expect anyway, because obviously you can't. I mean, you could have. Who could Becky really go against at this point unless you do the big matches now? So
and that's the thing. That look, I understand that they wanted just an opponent for Becky to get through. That's fine. I think there were better face opponents she could have necessarily gone against that could have got the rub from going against her. But yeah, fine. If you got to do it, you got to do it. Without sounding horrible, and this is not me petitioning for a Dana Brooke match on pay-per-view. I actually think she would have been a better opponent than Doudrop, just because someone she can beat comfortably. Someone's had a bit of a push recently, and she's a face that weirdly is getting cheers, and I don't get it. St. Louis crowds are weird, but
to be fair, we got the whole thing. I forgot to bring up the Rumble thing with what's his name again? I always forget his name, boy, because he was so involved in the Sasha Banks stuff. Reginald, that's it. Like, didn't he catch her? So it's like, I love the way that's his thing. He's just very good at catching women.
Flipping. He can do flips. Yeah. It's all good.
But yeah, I mean, but I think like I get it, but like maybe this would do like a chance they put this in the match. Say, okay, Doudrop. Okay, if you can go put a decent match with Becky, that's probably one of the best in the division. If you can put a good match there, maybe we can see. Maybe it was a test run. Maybe. I'm going to be
maybe. I mean, I'm just saying if they hadn't sacked her, Tegan Knox would have been perfect in this role, personally.
I mean, to be fair, I would have said Toni Storm, but that wasn't a firing. That was a walkout. That I don't actually know why, but there were rumors that anyway. But it's not the point. But yeah, this is the problem in the women's division. I think the Rumble showed it at times. Like they've fired a lot of people. A lot of people left. So. And without NXT, I don't think the women there are ready yet. There's a short supply of people that they can go against that they haven't pushed properly, if you think.
NXT have got a few that could come up. Raquel, Dakota, Io. It's got nothing left to do down there.
I mean, fair, especially just taking all the ones that they've built up for years in the old NXT. I mean, Gonzalez is perfect because I think she's got the kind of, she's got the look, she's got the speed, and she's got the power that you could. You would have to do something really terrible that again is possible WWE to really screw up. Like, let's say you could just make her as like a powerhouse in the women's division and she'd do well. So
when you say you have to do something really terrible to screw up, you mean i.e. Rhea Ripley, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, actually.
Just saying. Should we talk about the shortest match on the card? Coming in at a grand total of 10 minutes and 8 seconds.
Well, to be fair, I was not surprised this was the shortest match. Probably for the fact that, again, it's Brock. It's very rare he does ridiculously long matches, unless it's a triple threat, a fatal four-way, or... Because let's be honest, with Brock matches, you get what you get. It's basically German suplex, F5 stuff, basically counters, maybe. It's basically a spot fest type matches. And you get that with Brock, and that's what it is. But Yeah, I mean, obviously we're talking about WWE Championship, Brock versus Bobby Lashley. A dream match for some, because we still believe that I think it was when Brock came back first time. Was it? I'm sure. I think they went or someone. They went for Goldberg when it should have been Bobby Lashley. I can't remember who it was. Was it with Drew? I can't remember.
I'm not sure, but this was the match I was most looking forward to on the night. Weirdly, as much as Roman and Seth, I knew Roman and Seth would be good because it's Roman and Seth. But this was the match. I'm like, if they treat Bobby like they've been treating him for the past 2 years, this could be something really good entertainment-wise. And it was. I loved how much they gave Bobby Lashley here. Look. It's the same. It's similar to a match a few years ago with Brock, where the build to it was great, and it was two big behemoths, and it was Joe and Lesnar at, I want to say, Great Balls of Fire, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, this is going to be great. 15 minutes of them just hitting each other, right? And then Brock beat him in 4 minutes or whatever it was. This was the exact opposite of that disappointment. This was Lesnar being shown to be just as tough as Lashley being shown to be just as tough as Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Obviously, the story going in. There's a lot of being stuff like him being a Brock Lesnar wannabe, the old was it Bobby Who type stuff. But yeah, I mean, perfect example of that is literally the idea that every time he done a German suplex early on, Bobby Lashley just got straight back up, done one of his own that I liked as well. It's
simple, old school wrestling storytelling. It was really well done. There was the spot where Lashley speared Lesnar through the barricade, which for the record I knew was coming, because as soon as they didn't do it in Seth and Roman, which would have made sense considering Roman was spearing people through barricades all the time as the Shield, that would have gone nicely then. But hey ho, as soon as they didn't do it there, it was like they haven't done it because they're doing it elsewhere. So you knew it was coming. But the finish, again, I've got no issue with. I thought it was really well done, to be honest.
I mean, I got to be honest. That bit where it's basically you expect with the bit when Roman speared Brock, and all of a sudden looking at Paul Heyman, you expected him to kind of I'm gonna get turn, look at him and then hit another maybe. I mean, maybe I'm a sucker for that kind of. I love heel stuff like that, but I love the way he just hands him the title, and then kind of they walk off together after, and it's just Paul Heyman's doing the thing like he's praying, saying "Please forgive me," type thing. But yeah, I love that because it's it makes that match even more interesting now. Saying now he's we thought he fully turned on Roman, but actually maybe it was a plan. Maybe that was all part of the plan.
You've got to give them a lot of credit, because if you'd have told me at WrestleMania 34 that I will want to see Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania again, I would have laughed in your face. But they've made me want to see it. So
I mean, yet again, thanks to the brilliance of, let's be honest, Paul Heyman, proper Paul Heyman guy here. So maybe I love his way he books, the way he books stuff, and just as a general performer. But yeah, I just love that bit. It was he speared him, so he could have done another. He could have done the spear. Could have done Brock Lesnar, Eddie Guerrero, No Way Out, hit one spear, then buggered off, and then just Bobby wins the title. But I like the idea that literally Paul Heyman gave him the title, gave it to him. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I like that. But it was only one way to go, because obviously Brock's not losing clean.
No,
it's just,
and he shouldn't. I'm not debating that. But at the same time, I just want to mention, I like the fact that Lesnar didn't break the hurt lock. He did a clever counter with a bump into the referee, which got out of it, but he didn't break the hurt lock.
Yeah, it's
nobody's broken the hurt lock, right? So
I don't think so. I'm not.
It's very rare if they have.
I'm sure I've seen Drew do it.
Maybe, but it's nice that even against Lesnar they protected the move and protected Lesnar.
What we said, I've been love, as you said, Bobby Lashley's booking ever since we've formed allowing himself MVP, the Hurt Business, all that stuff has been absolutely brilliant. It's it was, I said before, first time in a very long time that I've actually thought you can praise WWE for good, actually build someone up and done good booking in that sense. Because they actually figured out what is Bobby Lashley's strength. The guy looks like a beast and he can destroy people. Why not give somebody else the mic work and let him do his thing, and it's worked perfectly.
Yeah, it's been so good, and like I say, I like that. It would have been so easy for them to just have Lesnar be the dominant force. Yes, Reigns screws him, but have it be Lesnar had the job done like that, no problem. But no, Lesnar was pushed, and I it needed to be.
I think it was kind of respect to Bobby Lashley. Though, so he actually, maybe some of the taunting. Going into the match, it's like, Bobby, who are you? But in the match, they proved that they were equal forces, and it's like it took an external force in Roman Reigns for it to end. But Bobby, it's not like it's not like Bobby was getting his ass handed to, and then Roman came in. It was just it was a competitive match that I think was what kind of why they were just going to bury him, but they made it a competitive match, and it was great. Like I said, 10 minutes of just was good.
They've set themselves up for a big rematch as well. Like they've protected it quite well. So you could do Lesnar Lashley too. You could do too many L's, right? But you could do Brock and Bobby again down the line, because you didn't have a clean finish here. And this, because of the length of it as well, just kind of felt like a preview of a longer match they could have.
Yeah, I mean, it's got potential for that. I mean, top of my head just came about, I can see this, if they wanted to build this could be a SummerSlam match.
It could potentially, whether they will or not, I don't know. Saying that they could do Roman and Seth again quite comfortably. Whether they do, I don't know. But it's nice that they are not just running through their stories and killing them, which is something they've done in the past. If we're honest.
I mean, the question is now, obviously, it's obvious Brock's Roman, that's locked, right? You would think that's locked. So like, who's Bob? Like, obviously, as we found out in day one, obviously, with that, or it's supposed to be fatal 4-way, but fatal 5-way, in the situation of they've got a good WWE title scene going on and more. I found it.
Well,
you got KO, you got Seth. Well, he did at the time when we were day one, but it's like, who would he go against? Like, when you got KO, but he's heel. Seth, still a heel. Like, unless, as we probably have to bring up, unless Bobby's going face, because the way he was acting, the mannerisms was very. It wasn't like serious, serious kind of walking down. It was very kind of jovial, like in when he won it and stuff. So are they turning him face again? I'm not against, by the way.
No,
maybe like.
I would say if this is the problem where they sacrificed their Raw main event division for the Brock Roman storyline by putting the title on Brock. They literally had a plan here and went, actually, we need to do something with Brock, so bye.
Yeah, I mean,
because what they could do, well, they could have done at WrestleMania, because there is talent, I'm not debating it. Hell, I'd have loved to have seen Bobby versus Seth versus Kevin Owens versus who was the other guy in the match? Big E.
Yeah,
that would have been a great WrestleMania title match. But they've done the match now. It's done. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, and especially when you hear the rumors that Seth was apparently scheduled, when you planned to win the title at day one. It's like, so what are they gonna? So yes, it's like, once again, seems to be what they always do. Is like put Brock in there, or like sacrifice the storyline they were having, just so Brock can have something to do, or just do something else. It just felt, I know what you mean.
It does leave them in a quite interesting situation. To be fair, as much as we rip on them, and I don't think it's good booking that's got them here, but it's left them in a situation where they're going to have to do something different now. They're either going to have to build someone up, aka Riddle, Damian Priest, someone like that, to go against Lashley, or they're turning Lashley or Rollins face.
I mean, personally, it's one of those things I'd rather see Bobby Lashley, because again, it's like, it'd be interesting to see, because again, you don't have to change anything with him.
No.
Because it's like, that's the beauty of it. With Seth, you might have to change some mannerisms a bit. Bobby's an easier pick, I would say, because all you have to do is basically, it's the same kind of with Brock, like when he turns face. Like, you don't have to change much. All you have to do is basically, instead of going after the faces, he goes after the heels.
Yeah,
because
that would be fine.
So I'm not but I'm just curious, because I mean, it'd be good to see, because obviously the idea of seeing maybe like Bobby Lashley versus KO would be interesting, maybe. Especially with, or maybe like.
But at the same time, without saying horrible, we've seen it. Bobby Lashley is a face against heel KO. We've seen it. I know it's a different Bobby Lashley, really. But, so this is it. The old school booker in me is thinking, what I would do, and this is what I was thinking during the Rumble match, and we'll get to it in the Rumble match, is why I was so disappointed by it. The fact that they've got Damian Priest doing this Jekyll and Hyde thing, where when he turns Hyde, he's a bit of a monster himself.
Yeah.
Kind of lends itself to go against the big monster Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania for the big title. Bobby Lashley, I don't know, you could set it up quite easily where Priest gets in his face, wants the title. So Lashley, out of frustration, ends up costing Priest the US title. So Priest comes after the WWE title. It'd be really a simple story to tell. And then you put over a new star at WrestleMania. And then that pushes out Seth, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'd have said Big E, but now he's obviously back in the tag team division on SmackDown. So,
and also it would feel kind of it would take a little bit of creative booking to try and get him to feel credible in a sense, because obviously, like, for a while he's been US champion, but is he barely defended that title?
That is half.
Another Nakamura situation where I think he's like, I can't remember last time Nakamura defended that Intercontinental Championship. That you've literally got.
I mean, Sami Zayn's been #1 contender for about a month, right? So
that they nicely brought up. I was like, because obviously I don't watch weekly, so I was like, oh, okay. I mean, to be fair, they could just give him the title, like he wins it, and because
Then maybe. Should we talk about the mixed tag? I mean,
yeah. Sorry about that. Just again, came out so I can hear.
If we're talking about matches that were just there.
I mean, this is no match. It was fine. It was what you were expecting, because again, you're expecting a kind of. How can I put this nicely? You're not expecting the Miz to be like he's like to put on like a 5-star amazing match, because that's not him. He's more character than in win work, if that's harsh. I don't know if that's fair.
No. Fair.
But I mean, but this match, it was just, you kind of knew Edge and Beth were going to win because they've set it up quite nicely. The idea that I think the Miz has already got. Miz is very good at being that guy. You just want someone to beat the crap out of him, and you don't bring Beth technically out of retirement to lose. No,
it was weirdly the most predictable match on the card in a way.
Yeah. I mean, again, with the Spurt, it was fine. I think it was just that it was, you could sit there and say up there with the Becky stuff as well. Just it was by the numbers, kind of, it was entertaining enough. It was fine. I mean, again, I like the story of Maryse, kind of, that wants nothing to do with Beth Phoenix. That, to be fair, with those crazy eyes and that hair, I wouldn't want to mess with Beth Phoenix either. Well, I mean, would you? I mean,
no. It's interesting though, isn't it? Like this and the Rumble match. It kind of feels like we're reverting to normality with the WWE Women's Division. Is it just me? Because it feels like for the longest time when they were bringing the horsewomen up, it was, right, the Divas and the Divas title was, well, they were doing their best, but it's a black mark on the Women's Division.
Yeah.
The Royal Rumble felt like a celebration of that Divas division.
I mean, especially when you've got, I mean, if you obviously bring up, just go back quickly, it's like, Summer Rae? Like, there's a joke on the way, and it's like Summer Rae's classified as a legend now. That's kind of hilarious, because no offense, well, this might be offensive, but she didn't really do much in the women's division, really. But, like, yeah, but that's because, again, they've changed direction how they're booking the women, right? Because obviously NXT's kind of like, she's got those. There's kind of a downside to why not using 1.0 versions of the women division, because it was one of the best women division. It was amazing. It all kinds of great, but yeah, I could agree. It's kind of going. I hope not, because obviously, and that kind of was focus more on wrestling ability and less about. It's more, it's what it should be. But yeah, but
I mean, I should say for the record, Beth was well ahead of her time. Beth would have fit in. Beth Phoenix in 2010, take her from 2010 and put her in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
She'd be main eventing. She'd be brilliant. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing against Beth, but
she came at the wrong time when the women, let's be honest, women division wasn't exactly taken as serious. But yeah, being in this match was great. I mean, again, I would have if you watched. I guess if you've watched the Edge documentary when he's coming back, you kind of have a lot more respect for Beth Phoenix because it's obviously a lot of because of her like as well helped him train and get into the shape he is to get when he came back. But
also, I've watched her Icons documentary as well, so a lot of respect for Beth. Would you say where does this compare to previous high-profile mixed tag matches? So you've got the Nikki Bella one, Brie and Daniel Bryan against Miz and Maryse as well. All three of them. What other major mixed tags can we think of?
You got, I guess, in the other, you're talking about the Cena one, right? You brought that up.
Yeah, Cena and Nikki against Miz and Maryse. So Miz and Maryse have done like 3 now. So the trilogy of Miz and Maryse mixed tags. This is. Where does this? Can you rank them? What's it called? Rank.
Okay. So we've got 3. So what's that's for? I have to remember them to be fair. So it's like you got John Cena, Nikki Bella versus them? That's one.
Yeah. So that one is probably the worst of the wrestling, but it's also at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that was mildly entertaining to a point. I mean, I don't know, maybe but to be fair, it's the same kind of spot anyway. Like, literally, I could actually probably, if you actually watch this match and that match, you could probably beat by beat, probably got the same amount. They've got a formula that works, but
I'd probably put this one top of the list. Nikki and John Cena second, and Bryan and Brie third, just because Brie mode, oh, it hurts my ears and I hate it.
Not laughing that so you weren't popping for that when it came out the Women's World Rumble. Then
my ears were popping out of the room. That's what.
You were like, okay, like, oh, who's next? Oh wait, she's coming to win. Boom. Okay, I'm just gonna go and put a T on it. Yeah, a couple of seconds. But yeah, I mean, again, it was fine. I think again, it's got. I mean, Miz Edge. It's like it wasn't going to be the spectacular match, but it did have some cool spots in it. I mean, I always like the idea when you've got these mixed tags, you have like the Miz and the Beth face off. Like, I like those kind of stuff just because it shows like the Miz is being the cocky, typical kind of guy that's like, oh right, you want to face me, and then she just beats the crap out of him. That's just Miz is that guy. He just like seeing anyone beat the crap. And to be fair, I mean,
Miz is so good at getting that cowardly heat as well. Like I'm watching a lot of early 90s stuff at the minute. You take the Miz and put him in the sort of Hogan era, right? He would be so good. So good. He like when his time comes to retire, he is going to be so good as a manager.
I mean, 100%. I mean, he's got. To be fair, I could see him as having like it might be we kind of had it, but like I could see him being, Paul Heyman's kind of group, right? Not to that level, but I could see him being this person who turns into like this kind of entrepreneur businessman that kind of hires and turns it into like a business type thing, because he's got everything. And obviously with the whole A-list thing, he's got his gimmick, and the way his kind of character is can be a thing that could go from being a wrestler to a manager very easily. But I mean, yeah. The funny thing is that I sometimes forget that when I say, "Oh, I hate the Miz," like, am I hating that because of like, am I supposed to hate him? Or it's like, I think we get confused these days where we don't, we're like, perfect example AEW, MGF, like, oh, I hate MGF. It's like, yes, that's the point. You're supposed to hate him. We all get confused now.
The best way to say it is, I hate the Miz, but I love Mike Mizan.
Yeah.
That's probably the better way to say it.
Yeah.
We've put it off, but we can't put it off anymore. The Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean,
can I just say, when they did AJ and Shinsuke Nakamura as 1 and 2, that's meant to make me as a wrestling fan go, oh yeah, brilliant. It made me as a wrestling fan go, oh no, what are they doing? Because why are they giving us that? I don't know whether this is just being a WWE fan for so long, but I automatically went into, why are they giving us that good thing there? What are they doing? What are they doing so bad that they've had to give us that?
Now, because I don't know what it is recently. I don't know if it's because of all the stuff WWE do backstage and all that. There's this thing in WWE at the moment. It just doesn't feel the same. But like normally, a couple of years ago, if AJ started number 1 and Nakamura was number 2, that would have been absolutely like, oh crap, right? But recently, it's kind of that feeling with, oh, maybe AJ can win it, maybe Nakamura can win it. But now it's just like the first two, and like, yeah, it's cool, but
it's a crowd popper. That's what it was. So I've got a list of entrants and then eliminations here, and there's a reason for this. I just want to read out some of the eliminations, and then we'll talk about them. AJ Styles went in at number 1 and was late. He had a good run and was eliminated by Madcap Moss, right? Okay. Damian Priest came in at 7 and was eliminated by Omos, but not in the way of like, oh yeah, because Omos is the big giant. It was he threw him out like he was Dolph Ziggler. Okay. Oh, hang on. There's more. There's definitely more.
It feels like it seems like a long complaint list. Like when you said, "Oh, do you want to know why this is bad?" Okay, that's bad. This is bad. That's bad. But you've got a point.
Riddle eliminated by Lesnar. Yes, it's Lesnar, but it's also Riddle was thrown out again like he's Dolph Ziggler. Kevin Owens eliminated by Shane McMahon.
I mean, I know some people can sit and say, well, storyline wise, there is a thing there, but
no.
I think okay, let's backtrack, right? Let's go back. So your first one you said with the AJ one, right?
Right.
It for me that feels like AJ getting eliminated away from Moss is similar to when Sasha got eliminated by Zelina Vega. It's like you thought this should be like a moment where you go, oh my god, wait, well that's a huge elimination.
And then you realised it was Madcap Moss.
Yeah, it's like, what? So we're going to have the only thing that could lead to, I guess, if I'm going to go storyline wise.
They're on different brands.
It's even worse. Because I was about to say they could tag together, right?
Let's theorise here. Why couldn't they have done AJ Styles had a good run, right? Damian Priest has a good run. Damian Priest ends up doing his Jekyll and Hyde thing and eliminates AJ Styles. Styles is frustrated by it and he kicks off a feud between the two for the US title. Why wouldn't that? Just do something better than Madcap Moss.
Or let him be in the final 6 or 5. And then, he gets taken out by Brock, but at least it'd be like, you'd be like, well, how did you get eliminated? Well, I got eliminated by Brock Lesnar, so it's not a slight in him. But yeah, Moss, like, what? We're going to. It's like, because obviously, as you said, they're not on the same brand, right?
No.
So, what does it start?
What's the point? I mean, this is the problem with this Rumble. It's not the decisions they made. It's how they got to those decisions. I've got no problem again with Brock Lesnar winning the Rumble. Made sense with the storyline. The crowd liked it. No problem with that. I've got no problem necessarily with Shane McMahon being a surprise entrance. Cool. Okay. But does he need to be a surprise entrance that throws out Kevin Owens and is basically look like the number 3 guy in the match? Really?
I mean, to be fair, especially with Kevin Owens, it hurts a bit more just because the guy has basically committed himself to this company, and then for a while when a lot of people shouldn't, and then all of a sudden he gets eliminated by Shane McMahon. I mean, come on, but again, it's a situation. You said it's like the old guard's eliminated the new guard, and it doesn't feel right. I mean, it's desperate for people in the Rumble when you've got Johnny Knoxville, but I can't even say his name. Apparently.
That was fine though. Weirdly, that was fine. And for the record, he threw a forearm to AJ Styles that is better than any Shane McMahon punch I've seen in Shane McMahon's career.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to be fair, Shane's kind of like punches look so weak. I know it's wrestling, but come on,
it's horrific.
I mean, what other things? I mean. Yeah, that. But I mean, you had. I think it's just one of these Rumbles, and nothing really went right. There was nothing there to really grab onto. Even
it's not even. So go on. It's not even that it doesn't went right, and we'll get to what you're about to say because I know where you're going with that. But it's nothing made sense. Why bring in Dominic Mysterio to eliminate him before Ray comes out?
Because again, they started up a story with the idea that basically it was his father trying to limit trying to top up, say. Well, every man for himself. Yeah, there's that, and obviously,
what happened to Riddle and Randy Orton having issues? Why not have Riddle throw out Randy Orton here by surprise, and Orton getting a bit pissed off about it?
Yeah, I mean,
let's make Riddle a star, right? Or should we just throw him out like he's Dolph Ziggler?
I mean, to be fair, it's example. That's why the women's match is better because it does know stories, and that's what makes mainly this. I said it feels like they've again rushed it. Or just went, okay, we just got to go by the numbers with this one. Let's not do anything too crazy.
This wasn't even by the numbers. This was okay, we'll do some stuff, but then Brock comes in and throws everyone out. This was the Royal Rumble equivalent of Shayna Baszler winning the Elimination Chamber. If we're really honest, Kofi's spot.
I enjoyed that.
Kofi's spot was tough. It was coming though. If we're honest, how many times has he done something and somehow it's worked every time? There was gonna be an occasion where they just got it wrong. Got it wrong.
Well, to be fair, without the Kofi, like with the thing, apparently from what I've heard weird, it's like you could sit there and say it kind of messed up the momentum, because I think there was got to be a situation where it's supposed to be, because didn't like Big E come straight after or the just after. So I guess in the whole spot was supposed to be he's next, helps him back in, and then have to do it. But they had to change. Maybe they had to change it up mid match, because obviously
probably I expect so. I mean, you brought him up, so let's talk about it. Big E, poor Big E.
And the guy at the beginning of the year was literally.
Did you see what Brody Lee's wife tweeted?
No,
after the Rumble? Big E deserves better.
He does,
and she's not wrong at all. No, 2022 has been horrific for Big E.
For the first month, anyway. Like, obviously, I mean, they've done what they always do with people with the Money in the Bank situation. They do it for the shock, they do it for the moment, but have no plans to push them in any way. And then they never feel like they are champion. And then when they lose the title, they go straight back to, they're like, oh, you've had a shot, go back to your position.
It feels like Big E failed a test. It feels like they put the title on him and they gave him a run, and they, for whatever reason, didn't like it, and then pushed him back down the card again. Because he had a decent little run. He had a good match with Drew. The stuff with Bobby Lashley was good. The feud with Seth Rollins was coming along nicely, and then they went, oh, Brock Lesnar.
They've just got no patience. I mean, and what annoys a lot of people is the same what annoyed people with Kofi. Is that there's no what's the word? Like, there's no change. Like, there's if you're going to take the title off him, fine. But if it goes into a situation they use it as a story beat to maybe change his character, change it up, do a cool story of him, like, maybe not so positive anymore, maybe him going like changing up something, then it'll be like, okay, I can deal with it. But it's just another thing which is you had your shot, same with Kofi, you had your shot. It's quite nice. Well, okay, didn't work out. There you go. Back to in the position you're supposed to be, but what they think you should be. And it's like, yeah, it's just like Big E was for some people like a good cup on the list of people that could win the Rumble. And it was like
it was hope more than anything. As soon as I saw that Big E had been moved back to SmackDown for some unknown reason, but they've announced he's been moved back to SmackDown, he's done. He's not getting another title shot. He's not getting a serious title shot again in his career. He's
just going to be one of those nice notes they can say on commentary to make it look like it's a bit like, former WWE champion. Like, but that's what annoys people. It's like, that's why the day one thing felt, if he had to lose the title, that's fine. But what annoyed everyone the most is he's the one that got the pin. Had to be pinned by Brock to lose it. That annoyed everyone. And then after that, I've done nothing with him. So it's just going to be...
They still could. I don't think they will, but they still could. I want to... Two other things, right? Bad Bunny was very impressive again.
I know Canadian Shore is one of those moves that's like... I'm not saying it's easy, but it's very... If you do it against the right person, it can always look spectacular. But it's always cool to see. I love the Canadian Shore. Even if there's that... obviously, you got the Randy Orton thing as well. I think it's his hometown, wasn't it? Or like his...
It is Randy Orton's hometown, yeah. Randy Orton got a good pop and then was thrown out by Brock Lesnar. Like, he's Dolph Ziggler, because that's how Brock Lesnar sees everyone, Dolph Ziggler. The other thing I wanted to say, the worst part of the whole night, I will never forgive Michael Cole for this, ever.
So this is the thing that made you go, that's it.
I nearly turned it off. Right?
Wow.
He said that Rick Boogs is the strongest pound-for-pound wrestler on the SmackDown roster, when Cesaro is right there, not even booked for the match. How dare you, Michael?
I know, the sad truth about Cesaro is we've all kind of... It's sad. Another example of a guy that could have been huge, but they just didn't know what to do with him. But yeah, like a guy that basically... What is Boog? What's his name again? Rick...
Boogs.
I mean, I don't get it. I don't get his. I know he's basically the guitar guy that plays for Nakamura that makes him Nakamura look cooler because he plays his guitar.
But then he came out looking like a vaudevillain. It was odd. It was just odd.
I had weird. I don't know why. It's maybe weird. Maybe it's because of I have some Steiner vibes with him, with the way he's doing the gorilla presses and all that. I don't know if it's the way he looked. Maybe I'm just looking into it because I was pretty much bored silly at this point. But I mean, yeah.
And on that note,
yeah.
Where's Bron Breakker? Where's Gunther? Where's do you know what I mean? Where's Tommaso Ciampa? Where's Pete Dunne?
Do you mean Walter? You mean Walter, right?
Gunther.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do what most main names.
I'm sorry, I don't know who Walter is. Walter has been pushed out.
Plausible deniability, is it? Eh? I see what your game is. Yeah, I mean, again, it's saying the women's as well. It's like, where was the NXT start? Didn't they think they were ready? I mean, if Braun Baker's supposed to be like the height of this new generation that they built, and this new stars, like, I don't know why. Like, why didn't they just put them there? Like,
so in an alternate universe where I have control of the WWE, right? This Royal Rumble ends with Brock Lesnar winning after a basically a 10-minute fatal 4-way hoss battle between Big E, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar, and Gunther.
The idea of seeing, was it Walter? We're not going to have to escape. I'm just going to call him Walter, you call him Gunther, then we'll see what sticks in our mind soon. But the point is, like, the idea of seeing, I'm just going to say Walter slapping, like chopping Brock Lesnar, is just,
and Lesnar laughing it off. That's what I want to see. And then the idea of Big E and let's call him Big G at this point, going at it. I mean, it's so, honestly, so many options.
I mean, to be fair, you've already done the whole, well, if I was booking WWE, you've already done it. You've done it for a year, so have a nice simple plug there for your. I think that's free now. So I mean, I've done. I
don't get any more, do I?
But yeah, I mean, again, it's like, as you said, like, it just didn't have anything that the Rumble would have. Storylines in between. It's surprise. Big elimination, surprise entrance. It is nothing to cling on to other than just, Brock won, that was it.
Well, I mean, look at the final side. So they throw out, was it Orton third? I think it was Orton. It might have been Riddle.
Here we go. So I got Brock. Basically, it seems like maybe with my notes, it's basically Brock comes in at 30, and then I've just got for only 4 people. Brock eliminates this guy. Brock eliminates this guy. It's basically Brock, I think, eliminates Orton. Then he eliminates Bad Bunny. Then he eliminates Riddle. Then he eliminates Shane McMahon. And then the final 2 is Drew and Brock.
So you get to the final 2 of Drew and Brock, and you go, okay, fine, there's history here. And they never really had a proper match because of, COVID and all this sort of stuff. This will be good. 10 minutes in front of a crowd. Let's go. Oh. No, Brock's going to throw Drew McIntyre like he's Dolph Ziggler.
I got best to love the way you used that like 3 times down. It's like just like Dolph Ziggler. It's like, I feel sorry for Dolph in some ways, but anyway. But the point is,
Dolph was in this match, by the way, but no one knew because it's Dolph Ziggler.
I even put in my notes, but Robert Roode is in it, and I was like, wait, I thought he was fine. I thought he was fine. And I'm not saying that harsh, but it's just like I haven't seen him on telly or like do anything meaningful for so many years. I'm just like, I thought he's still in the company. You didn't even know he's still here. But like Dolph's the same as well.
Is this the worst Royal Rumble match since 2015? Probably comfortably. Is it worse than 2015? Is the question that everybody wants to know. I don't know,
I would say...
I don't know whether it's worse necessarily, but I wouldn't say it's better.
No, I would say no. Okay, so I would say no just because of their, for me, emotionally. 2015 one bothered me so much that it literally... my mate Josh, or also Josh does this to here, was literally so annoyed that what happened. It was not, he got really angry at space. But this one is just, this motion for me, I went, okay. It didn't impact me as much. So could it be, would you say 2015 was booked worse? Like this one was okay. It was fine, but it wasn't anything amazing.
It's a tough one, isn't it? So like 2015 made me angry. This one just made me disappointed.
or just no emotion
Is that
at
worse?
all? I mean,
No, I had emotion. I was disappointed. It disappointed me. Royal Rumble 2015, I was angry. But Royal Rumble 2020, I'm not angry. Just disappointed.
That's worse. At least when you're angry, it shows you care. When you're disappointed, it's just like, why do we keep?
I was disappointed in myself for expecting a good Rumble. To be fair, Rumbles in the past few years have been very, very good. 2020 is, 2018 is. We've
been due a bad one. To be fair,
yeah.
I mean,
as soon as you asked me to come on this review, I should saw it coming right. So.
I think it's a situation. If we do it again, we do a review again at some point. We just got to do a classic pay per view that's amazing. We know it's amazing, so we can stop the dark.
Rot.
Yeah, or just like literally if we're going through the reviews and just say, okay, if it's not up to like, you know, the best pay per view of the year, we just can't review it together. Because we've got to stop signing. Because was it two now? The first was Wrestlemania 2000 on my short-lived retro review series, and now Royal Rumble 2022, and this is it. Yeah. So I guess got last thing I asked, like usually I ask Josh this as well, like grade, like final thoughts. What if you're going to give us a grade? What would you give this pay-per-view?
Oh. I'll have to think about the grade a tiny little bit, so I'll get to the thoughts first. I think, similar to what I said at the start, it's not a bad show. It's not a good show. It's a show that's just kind of there. If you didn't watch this show and you've listened to us, or you've read a review, or you've, I don't know, watched the YouTube clips, whatever, I don't feel like you've missed anything, and that's a crime for the Royal Rumble.
I mean, you could like with the other pay-per-views, like day one, like the B pay-per-views, right, all the other stuff, right? If it's just fine, I'm like, I can deal with it because you know it's fine. But as you said, it's Royal Rumble. It's the start, as they say, the road to WrestleMania, and you've delivered this. It's like you've got to up you, and supposedly Royal Rumble to WrestleMania is supposed to be peak. Maybe supposed to be peak creative when they give a crap time.
Well,
for 3 months, it's supposed to be this time frame when they go, okay, we actually have to care now.
Well, so this is the thing. You made a good point there. If this was a day one or I don't know, Battleground or whatever name they come up with, right? You go, okay, nothing really noteworthy happened, but there was good wrestling. The Royal Rumble isn't built around good wrestling. It's built around good storytelling. You are never going to see a 5-star Royal Rumble match because it's just not going to happen. It's too long. It's too many people. It's not going to happen. But you will have well-crafted storytelling matches in the Rumble, and this weren't it. You want a grade? You want a grade? Are we doing letters or are we doing numbers?
I mean, over the years I've done numbers, but recently I've been doing letters. So I mean,
D+.
Wow. I don't think we've ever had a D+ thing on this.
D for disappointing.
I mean,
plus for the Shield Memorial match.
I mean, I was gonna say my first thing C+, maybe if I wanted to be generous, but maybe because. But then I don't know. It's just I always feel like you go into D territory. It's kind of like I don't think it was like totally terrible. I think D's like train wreck of a thing that everything sucks. Like there were good moments. All right, well, that's better, I guess. You go plus. There's a reason why there's a reason why in grading systems you always put a plus and a minus. So even if it's like you got an F, but you got an F+.
It's not helped by the fact that 2 weeks ago I watched a Royal Rumble 1992 match, and that match is up here. This match can't even shine its shoes.
I know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's supposed to get us excited for WrestleMania. It's supposed to be. It's the point. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm having one of those wrestling dips where you just don't feel excited with WWE at the moment. Maybe I am. Maybe I can't be the only one that thinks this. I mean, I'm not exactly 100% really excited.
I know what you mean. I'd like at this point having my head on and going, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do that. They could do this, they could do that. And I look at the card right now for WrestleMania and I go, they're going to do Brock and Roman. They're going to hopefully do Ronda and Becky. And then what else?
There's no, I mean, And the problem is now it's a 2-night event. They've got the problem is if you ever watch Wrestle Kingdom, it's got the same problem sometimes where it's supposed to be this spectacular event where it's one night and it's supposed to be like all these great matches put together, but at 2 nights, it's like that means they've got to put matches that, to be fair, probably have no right to be on a WrestleMania card.